Hello, gifted crafters, and welcome back for another Saturday CrafterNoon. Hello, everyone out there. I see people tuning in from all over the place. We've got North Carolina, Maryland, Pennsylvania, North California. We've got Louisiana. Awesome. We've got Virginia. Let's see. I'm not sure. I think I missed a couple of places scrolling in there, but hello and good afternoon, I should say. Almost said good morning. It's good afternoon. And if you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Nancy with GiftsHQ, and I host these are weekly live sessions to talk about all kinds of crafting things. This is just our regular Saturday Crafternoon, and we have a few special announcements that we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be doing a couple of changes. We're always changing things up and making things new. Before we get to all that, let's say hello to some friends that I see out there. Alrighty, I see Barbara. See, Boricua Sewing and Crafts, that's my sister. We've got Krissa, we've got Debbie, Donna, Faker McFay, Jackie, Jane, Jenny, Joanna, Creative Notions. We've got Marie, Marilyn. We've got 1 minute tips. We've got Mariana. And I'm not sure who else is in there. It's kind of still scrolling. I may have missed a couple of people, so sorry if I did. I'll try to catch you on the chat if I do. But if you're tuning in today, and I hope you really like our content, if you're into all kinds of crafting, this is the channel that's just for you. We have a fantastic community. So go ahead and type into the chat. We like to support all YouTube creators, all content creators. We support crafters. We support anyone who has an Etsy shop. Maybe you have a little craft fair coming up, or maybe you're just looking to make a quick little gift. This is the channel. We like to share all kinds of tips, tricks, ideas, and we demo things and do all kinds of fun stuff together. So sit back, relax, enjoy the hour, and just have a great time. All righty. So I'm a holiday girl. For those of you that know me, I like to look up holidays that may or may not be on your calendar. So I've got a couple of them for you today. Today is National Daiquiri Day. So a great day to kind of go into your kitchen and make yourself a daiquiri, or just go out and get one, right? I mean, why not? It's also National Football Day for all those football lovers out there. You can definitely have fun with that. And those are the two holidays that I have. Now, today's kind of a little special day. It's a little bit of an anniversary. We have been doing these YouTube videos now for 3 years. Our actual first live was on July the 22nd, 2022. That was our first live video. And our very first Saturday Crafternoon was on July the 30th of 2022. Yeah, so we've got a bit of an anniversary here. It was 3 years ago to date, and we are just about going to be hitting our 10,000 subscribers. So I was really excited about that. We are at about almost 9,900-ish, almost. We're like at 9,889. So we're getting there. So please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because we're really trying to get to our 10,000 subscribers, and we'd like to do something a little bit special on that. So you know, half the people that watch our YouTube channel are not subscribed to it. So go ahead and hit subscribe. It doesn't cost you a thing. And then you can hit the notification button and you can be notified whenever we are online. So if anyone remembers what I did on my first live, does anyone even remember that? It was 3 years ago today, and I know some of the people out here that I see have been with me probably since day one. So my first live was actually because it was around the time of COVID, and I remember that my sister wasn't feeling well, and she had started doing lives, and then she couldn't do the live because she was really sick that day and felt really bad because there were a lot of people that, like to kind of tune in. So I broke down and I said, okay, fine, I'll do it for you. And so I went live. It was my very first time. And oh my God, I was so nervous. So I don't know if you guys remember that show. I was a nervous wreck doing my live, and it was crazy. It was just really crazy. And then after that, soon after, I did my first Saturday CrafterNoon, and I believe it was on machine embroidery using cutaway. So it was kind of fun and just nerve wracking. And so I was a big nervous mess. Still makes me a little bit nervous when we go live, but we also started off the shows and started to do trivia. So if you guys remember that, we kind of give you a little blast of the past today. It doesn't count for anything. We were just doing it for fun. We had lots and lots of giveaways. Excuse me. We had lots and lots of giveaways that we've done in the past. We've given away aprons, books, gift cards, hundreds and hundreds of different prizes. And so those were always a lot of fun. And that was with the trivia. We would do trivia. We would keep track of the points. It was a lot of work, guys. We had to keep track of the points. We had to keep track of posting it out there. So we had full visibility of who was on top and who was on the bottom in terms of answering the questions. And then we would give out the prizes quarterly, and then annually we gave out a pretty big prize. So yeah, the trivia was great. Oh, Jenny. I think everyone enjoyed the trivia, and we had fun doing a lot of that trivia. So, maybe every once in a while we'll try to pop one in here and there to keep you guys on your toes. But we've got to keep changing things around. And so one of the things that we're going to do, we are not going to be hosting Saturday Crafternoons. I'm not going to say that we're not going to do it forever. I'm saying we're going to put a pause on it for now. And I know everyone's kind of like, and there's a reason for that, because there's good things coming towards that. So we've got a lot of projects, and I've got a lot of things planned that I want to do with this channel in order to make it grow. But I'm already on 5 days a week, right? In the morning, I do the daily morning shows. And then Sundays is really dedicated to my mom and helping her out and taking her and doing anything that she needs to do. So I really only have Saturday to really try to jump ahead and do project work. And so the Saturday Crafternoon kind of puts a hamper on that, because I also have to plan for that as well. So we've been pretty busy here, and I also have my full-time job. So that's another thing. But yeah, but don't worry, guys. There's a reason for that. So what we're going to be doing, because we're not going to do the Saturday Crafternoon, I'm going to try to use this time to work on the new craft room so we can get that going, and we can finally move this space to our new space and realign cameras and get better positioning and lighting and things like that for you guys. So that's one thing that has to happen. And for that to happen, there's a lot of work that has to go through there. So I need time to do that. And I can only do it on Saturdays since I work during the week. I really don't have a lot of time during the week. I only have the weekends, and I have to leave Sundays for my mom. So yeah. So we'll be working on the new craft room. Yeah, I know, Donna, but you're not up. I know. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. But I mean, again, I'm not saying that this is forever. I'm just saying that I'm going to pause it for right now so that we can get some of these bigger projects done. We'll have an occasional one on Saturdays, maybe Saturday evening. Maybe I'll do a Saturday afternoon for our members. We'll try to do that, because I also want to work on some more material for the members. I've been kind of lacking a little bit on that, and I need to ramp that back up. And also just working on content for the channel, right? We are in July, Christmas is coming. We need to start ramping up on all of our items for that. Hubby also needs some time to work on our CD, right? So we want to have, the goal was to have a CD ready before the end of the year so that you guys can have that and have it out the door. Tons of work that needs to go on for that. It's on its way. We've got a few songs already, but there's more work that needs to be done. So we need the time to be able to do that. And then I'm also working on some special projects as well. So those will be coming. And when I have a little bit more info and I have everything all together, I'll kind of reveal that. But most importantly is this craft room. We've just outgrown it. It's just not working for me anymore. We really need the space, and we really need to work on the lighting and the audio and all of that stuff in the new craft room, besides me having to just get the room ready itself. So tons of stuff to do, full-time job, still going to be streaming 5 days a week in the morning. You can catch the replays if you can't attend that hour. But for right now, Saturday CrafterNoon is just going to be on pause until I can get some of this stuff done. We may occasionally have something for the members that maybe I will dish out, maybe an evening, you know, we'll still have some of those, but they're not going to be every Saturday, and I'm just going to try to do it when I get a little break in between. So yeah, Donna, you saved lots of money because you brought lots of new craft stuff while watching you on Saturday. I know, Donna, but don't worry, we're not going to be gone forever. We just need to get that craft room going, and like I said, all these other projects. Otherwise, we won't have a CD by the end of the year, which we really want you guys to have that. You know, we want to move out of this room and make it a little bit bigger so I can show you more stuff and get better camera angles. So, you know, lots of things that have to get done, and there's just only so much time. Jenny says, we understand, take care of you and get craft room ready. Yes. It takes a lot of time for renovations. Yes, it does. And a lot of the stuff we're kind of doing ourselves because we're on a budget. So, you know, the painting, the popcorn ceiling, all of that stuff's got to get done by me. And all of that is stuff that's going to need time as well. So, yeah, we're working on all that. This will give us a little bit more time to get it done and get it done quicker. And then we can kind of see where we are once the craft room is done and we're all moved in and we're towards probably the closer to the end of the year. We're going to figure out what we can do then, and then we may shift things back around. So we will see. Yes, Boricua Sewing and Crafts, that's my sister. Running a YouTube channel is a lot of work. It is tons of work. Yes, it is. It's like having another full-time job. Like Becky said from Power Tools with Thread, she mentioned it as well, and she said that I could tell you, I can definitely tell you. Yeah, a lot of camera work, a lot of audio work, content, research. I mean, tons and tons and tons of things that you have to prep. You know, you can't just turn on the camera and willy-nilly it. That's not something that I want to do. I just like to have things a little organized and have my research in place to give you guys really good content and good information. So that's going to help me for right now to get that room ready and to get us going, because it's really crammed in here. It's really a small room, and I really need to have the extra space to be able to kind of help move things around and show things a little bit better so that we can give you better content. So I hope that you guys you know, are okay with this. I'm really sorry. I know some people, for Saturdays it's perfect. For me it's perfect because, you know, that's my day off, right? Saturdays and Sundays we get the weekends off. But I have to work on these projects, otherwise they're just never going to get done. And we've got to tackle it. So it's something that in order for me to meet my goal by the end of the year, and I had all these things in line as a goal, I do need to make these changes. And so I'm going to make these changes. We'll get everything done by end of year, and then we'll see what we can do, and we can get more stuff, fun stuff for you guys. So, okay. Yeah, you remember Becky mentioning you. Yeah. Yeah, so it's a lot. It's a lot, but it's a lot of fun too. Okay, so let's get to our content, shall we? Enough with the announcements. All right, we were going to talk about quilting labels. And so you guys, if you recall, we made this quilt during the week, right? So we have our Christmas in July session and we made our little quilt here. And so on this quilt, it's all set, ready to go. I went ahead and did everything that I needed to do here. But we don't have a label for it. And, you know, I always forget to label my things. And this time I'm going to go ahead and do it. And so I want to kind of go over three ways that you can, three different methods that you can use to make a quilt label. And so on here, we're going to look at just a few here that you can do. And we're going to look at a couple of them that I was able to do last night. And we're going to see some disasters and we're going to see some actually pretty good ones. Okay. So let me move this over to the side. Actually going to move, actually I'll leave it right here. I think that will work. And we're going to look at the very first way that you can do this. Now, first way you can do it is to just take a marker and you can handwrite with your own handwriting, do your own label, right? Yeah. But you would think, I can't just pick up any willy-nilly marker, right? And if you do, you may end up with something that looks like this. And so here it is. Let me move this over to our dust cam. You can see here what happened because it came out great, but yeah, this is what happened when I added some water and wanted to iron it. So one of the very first things you have to do when you are thinking about your labels is, am I going to be throwing this fabric in the wash? Is your project washable? Is it a quilt that's going to be washed? Is it a wall hanging that may not be washed? Is it an apron? Is it, you know, anything that you are putting a label to? First thing is it going to be washed? If it is going to be washed, you definitely do not want to use a willy-nilly marker, right? Because this is what will happen. Now, you do have some options out there. There are some fabric markers that you can get. These are the ones that I have on my stash. And I can show you the differences that were done with it. So these markers here with this, actually, I keep forgetting about the dust cam. Let me put it over here. So this first way of doing it was done with some little bitty markers that came with my scan and cut. And they're just regular markers. Now I tried it out with these because I wasn't sure what type of markers they were. I couldn't remember, and they weren't labeled. So I wasn't sure if they were fabric markers or not. So I said, let me give it a try, and I did. So this label was made by the scan and cut. I used the scan and cut to draw and put my label in there. Okay. I took these markers, which are the tulip, they're dual tip markers. These are fabric markers. And I went ahead and I hand wrote my name. Oh, you can see them both here. And because they're dual tips, you have one tip that is very thin, and so you'll see that down here, and then you have the thicker marker up here where it's a little bit better. So bring that a little closer so you can see that. Okay, and these are just dual tip markers. I really recommend the Tulip brand. I really like this one compared to some others that are out there, but it has the dual tip. So you've got the extra fine side here, looks like that. And then you have the other side, which is the brushed tip marker. And you can see this one here, pretty thick, right? But no smudging. Okay, same thing with the other side. It's very, very thin, and no smudging on that either. So this is the markers I would recommend to do this with. However, you cannot just take these markers. If you wanted to hand write them, you'll be good. You can just grab these markers and go ahead and write and create your label. However, I'm surprised you said that, Robin, because I think my handwriting is atrocious. I do not like my handwriting at all. I just don't. It's just, maybe I can get away with just my name, but my brain moves so fast that my handwriting can't keep up with it. So I'm not one that has a really nice handwriting. My sister has a very nice handwriting. She can write things, it comes out really pretty. My handwriting does not do good. Yes, Sharpies, not good for fabric. Yeah, that's true, Carissa. They bleed and fade. If not an actual fabric marker, try Identi Pin. 2 tips come in colors. I used them for years ago in my diving equipment. Very minimal fading. Yes, awesome. Thank you, Carissa. That's another excellent one that you can use. You use archival ink pens. Okay. And I know you guys are recommending different ones that are out there, and that, but also make sure you're testing it when you wet it, right? Because another thing I did here, even though this marker, when I did it with the scan and cut, it did not bleed, it did not smudge, but add a little water to the mix, just like that, and then try and see what happens. Yeah, that's what happens. And then I thought, well, maybe it's because I didn't hit it with an iron first and heat set it. So I did another one and I did that, and it still did the same thing. So be very careful on the types of markers that you use. You don't want to have something like this, right? So what options do I have? I can do the handwriting with the fabric markers, and these are totally fine. Guys, I have these, they're in the store as well. If you wanted to check those out, I put it in the store so that you guys can see it. But we've got the handwriting that you can do, but if you're like me, not a fan of your handwriting, and you want to use your scan and cut, you're limited to these that come with the machine. And I have the SDX 230Di. However, you can purchase a universal, it's called the universal pen holder. And with that universal pen holder, you're able to use these types of markers, okay? The third option, and thanks Cindy for bringing that up, the third option for labels is to embroider them. And that's what we're going to do today, okay? I'm going to show you exactly how to do that without having to buy any designs and just using your built-in designs in your machine. So you can do that. I'm sorry, there's one more. Oh, the ink will stain your Formica desktop, so be careful where you put it down. Yes, that's true. Very, very true. Be very careful with these. So, again, you can handwrite it, but make sure you're using the right marker. You can use your scan and cut, but you're going to need the universal pen holder. And I did order one. It's going to be here on Monday, so I'll be able to test that out on Monday. And then you can also use your embroidery machine to embroider them. So different things that you can do to use that. Okay. All right. So let me see. This is the, let me just show you guys. This is the casing that my scan and cut comes with. And this is what it came with. And this will hold the small markers. But again, you can draw on this, but you're going to have issues if the fabric gets wet. Okay. So be very careful with those. And I know that it's kind of odd because I thought that these were going to be fabric markers because Brother includes this with the machine. And one of the options is that you can draw out quilt blocks and you can draw the seam allowance. You can have it draw out the 1/4-inch seam allowance, which is awesome. And I've done that before. That's a lot of fun. And it's great because it gives you the line so that you know exactly where you need to sew when you're piecing it together. But when it gets wet, it's going to smudge. So I thought that was a little weird that they've done that. So these would be more like for your cardstock papers, things like that. I did order the universal pen holder and I have the fabric markers. So I'm going to try it with that once that comes in and I'll show you guys that. The other thing that is available out there but can be a little pricey are you can just buy quilt labels, right? You can buy quilt labels and this one comes with 24 different designs that you can download. You do need to have an inkjet printer for this to work. It does have a fusible behind it so that it will stick to your project. But yeah, that's just some options, although this is probably the most priciest ones because these can be very pricey. So we ended up with that. And then, you know, I did use the scan and cut to kind of make one out anyway. And I just used different fabrics that I had on hand. And this one has the heat and bond on it. So it would be ready to go on a project that is not going to be washed. Because you can see here, there's no smudging on it. But if I do add water to it, it's going to smudge. So there's another option. And then the last option, of course, is the embroidery, right? And so here's one that I made. I did put some heat and bond back here that I want to apply. So we've got it in here and I'm going to show you exactly how to make this. It's so easy. This is just with the built-ins that are in the machine. So let's go do that. I'm going to head over to my embroidery machine and let's get going on that one. Okay. So I've got my camera kind of set up here and I have a little piece of cardboard that I'm putting over so that you guys don't get that glare. Let's see here. Oh, did it kind of move a little bit? No, we want it there. Okay. Hold on. Let me just position this the right way so that you guys do not get this annoying glare. Okay. Better. And let me just adjust this slightly. There we go. Actually going to leave it just like that. Okay, so we've got our embroidery machine here. I'm going to go ahead. Nope, let me move that here. I'm going to go ahead and select this option here that brings me my shapes. And then I'm going to select a very simple shape. And on here, you're going to see different options that you can do that people probably forget they're even on their machines. So go ahead and scroll through the options that your machine has. And as you can see here, here's one with the blanket stitch. So we're going to go ahead and select that one and hit set. You need me to angle it down a little bit? Okay. Oh, the paper. Are you still getting the glare? Okay. Okay, hopefully that's better. So we've got now our selection here. There's tons of selections out there, guys. Every machine is going to have different ones. So check out your machine because those built-in designs, a lot of people forget they even have them and they instantly go out and they start buying designs. And you have some pretty neat ones here that you could use, especially for the labels, right? And so what we're going to do, we just have the label itself here and we're going to hit our add button. And I'm going to add some fonts to it. And I'm just going to select a font on here. Let's just pick this one here, although there's tons of them that are out there. And then I'm going to go ahead and just type in something. So let's put made. And I'm going to change it here to small because I have a very small space. So I want to keep the letters small. And I'm going to use my arrow keys. And that's going to give me the smaller letters. So that's how Brother has it set up. Every machine is just a little bit different. And then you're going to want to hit the space bar. So you have to find where your space bar is. And then I'm going to go back because I want a big B. And then go back and hit the Y. And then I'm going to hit this enter button because it's going to allow me to do multiple lines. So as you can see up here, it says 2. That's because this is the second line. And so now I'm just going to put my name on here. And I'm going to use the small letters here. And I'm going to put another space, and I'm going to add the year. So I'm going to hit the number signs here, and I'm going to just put 2025. And we're going to hit set. And you can see the design already built in. It's already centered it for me right inside the little rectangle with the blanket stitches around it. And that's perfect. If you want to see it a little bigger, you can hit the little magnifying glass there and you can see exactly how it's going to come out, which is perfect. It's exactly what we want to see here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And then I'll hit end. I'm going to put everything on with my white thread. And I'm going to go ahead and hit embroidery. And you can see it's 3 different sets. I didn't bother changing the thread color. I'm just keeping it all one color. It sets it to a black thread, but the machine doesn't know any better. I'm just going to go ahead and use my white thread. And so I'm going to go ahead and put my foot down. And then we're going to go ahead and stitch it out. Now I had already went through my design and I made sure that it was going to fit in the hoop and all of that. So I kind of just skipped over those steps. But you're going to see how quick and easy it is to just make your label. Really, really easy. It's going to print, it's going to do it really quickly. And I do have some no-show mesh in the hoop. And I just hooped a little bit of the material. This is the same backing material that I have for the quilt. So it's just kind of blend right in. And then all I'm going to do with this, once it's done, is what we're going to do is cut it out, which I've already done here. And I'm just going to add a little bit of heat and balm to it. And since I kind of thought of this after the fact, so I'm putting a little bit of heat and bond and then I'll be applying it to the quilt. And I'm going to be using some invisible thread to just kind of hand stitch a little bit here and there to kind of reinforce it so it doesn't go away. And so here we are back at the embroidery machine. You can see that it's already stitched out the rectangle with the blanket stitch all the way around. And so now I am going to tell it to go again, and it's going to start doing the first line of the label. And you can do all kinds of different things with the fonts, right? You can change your thread color and make it every letter a different color, you know, so that's really cool because you can change that up and have it kind of stand up with that. But you can do all of that in your machine. You don't need Embrilliance. You don't need anything. You can also do it in Embrilliance if you like if you have tons of things that you can design yourself with Embrilliance on there. Can you do one label at a time? More than one label? Yes, you can. You can actually tell the machine to duplicate it, and so you can do more. So I can probably fit maybe about 3 labels in that hoop. This is it's a 5x7 hoop. I could have used a smaller hoop, but I just had it out, so I just went ahead and used the 5x7. But yeah, you can do multiple on there. You can just continue to add, hitting that add button, add another rectangle, put the fonts in that you want. You know, you can add as much as you want on here. So you can do 3 at a time, depending on your hoop size. Check your machines, right? The bigger hoop you have, the more you can make. I'm doing a 5x7. I probably could have done 3 of them on here. But if you don't want to do so many, you can just use a smaller hoop that'll fit just the label that you're making. All right, so use those built-in designs because a lot of people forget about those designs that are in the machine. And, you know, you have so much opportunity to make designs yourself just within the machine without having to deal with the software, getting out your laptop or anything like that. You can definitely do some creative work right there on the machine. Now, of course, if you do have Embrilliant, that's a whole different ball game. You can create tons of things in Embrilliant, and you can customize so many different labels. If you've got maybe a little logo or things like that, you can put that within the label as well to kind of really showcase your work, right? Okay, so it's done with the next line. I'm just going to hit the button and have it finish it up. So it's going to go ahead and do the last one. Now, while that happens, I'm going to go ahead and plug in my iron. And I'm going to wait for that to heat up. And then we're going to go ahead and just use this one here because I've already cut it up. All I did was take it out of the hoop and I cut alongside the edges of my label. I did use the no-show mesh, so I have that on the back, but I'm going to be applying my heat and bond to the back of this, right? And I'm going to cut this to size, and then we're going to go ahead and put it on the project. Like I said, I'm just going to hand stitch with my invisible thread, just grab a couple of stitches to kind of reinforce it because I've already got the heat and bond on there, but I really want to make sure that it stays on. So we definitely want to make sure that this is, you know, gonna stay. And so with those hand stitching little points, it's gonna be perfect to kind of reinforce it in there. Okay, so let me first grab some scissors and I'm gonna kind of trim this a little bit to size. So let me grab my scissors here while my iron is heating up. And I'm just going to cut this right alongside. It really doesn't need to be perfect. I just don't want heat and bond to go on my iron. So I want to take out as much as I can. You can go a little bit under your project. That's actually probably preferred. I think that works a little bit better. That way your iron doesn't get dirty. It's mostly the corners that has that little curve. So you want to just kind of do that. And a little bit on the side here. Okay. Let me put this over to the side. Not this heat and bond. I do not want that on my mat. And it's just about done. See how quick that was? Really, really quick. Let's just check it out here and see how it's going because it's almost done. It's just about done putting the last digit on the year. So yeah, I can only imagine for those that have multi-needles, they must be able to do a ton of these all at once, right? So, okay, it's finished embroidering. I'm going to hit OK and go ahead and take this off. And let's bring this over to the table here. Okay, let me move some of this out of the way. And so here it is. You can see it came out just fine. You got a couple of jump stitches that we'll need to just kind of take off, which is normal, just like any other design. There's a couple here and there that I can do later, but this is it here. You know, once you take it off of the hoop, you can see here we've got our no-show mesh, and so we've got our nice label here, but we do have the issue with, well, now it's not cut out, so I still have to cut it out, and so I was afraid of some fraying. Well, the heat and bond is going to help with that to eliminate that fraying and hold it down, but then I'm also going to hand stitch little pieces here and there. So I'm going to go ahead and take my little label that's all cut out now, and I've got the heat and bond ready to go. So I'm just going to put this on my ironing mat here, line this up, And then I'm just going to take my iron, should be ready to go. Oop, sitting on the cord. And just go ahead and heat that up. And then I like to flip it and do it the other way as well. That way I'm sure that every single piece got hit with that heat and bond light. Okay. A little bit hot, so I'll leave it for a few seconds for it to cool. Don't want to burn my fingers. And then I'm going to use this and kind of decide where you want to position it. So we've got the quilt here, and you want to do it on the back of the quilt, and you want to make sure that if it's directional like this is, that it's facing the right way. So we want the back of the quilt here. I'm going to kind of move it down this way so you guys could see it. So this is the back, right? We've got it folded, so it's looking opposite, but this is the right way, okay? And we want to decide where you want to put it. You can put it, if you want to put it on the top, you can do the top. Most people do it on the bottom, and you can either pick on the left or on the right, wherever you think is better for you. I'm going to go ahead and just put it right there. And I think that would work out just fine. I could put it in the middle. You know, you can decide where you want to put it anywhere you want. But I think the middle here is just going to be perfect. And so I'm going to kind of lay this a little bit flat. I'm going to turn this opposite way just so that it's closer to me. And I know it's going to look upside down to you guys, but I'll turn it around as soon as it's done. So now let's just take off the paper since it's already cooled down. And we've got the heat and bond on here. So now I'm just going to go ahead and put it on here one more time. Just check to make sure it's going the right way. Here's the Christmas tree, right? Here's the top of the tree. Here's the bottom of the tree. And we're going to put that right there. Grab my little iron. And we're going to iron it right in place. Just let it sit there for a little bit. Here we go. Make sure it's nice and heated. Since it's kind of bulky, I'm going to let it sit for just a little longer. Okay. And there we go. It is now nice and in place. And I'm just going to, again, I'm going to use my invisible thread because I still want to get in here and just reinforce it here, because this can be washed and I don't want the label to, you know, kind of fall off or anything like that. Right now, the only thing that's holding it together is the heat and bond. So I want to reinforce it, but I don't want my stitches to show on the other side either. So that's why I'm going to hand stitch it, and I'm just going to grab this outer fabric, but I'm going to try not to go into this area here. I'm going to leave this side really set on its own. So let me turn it over so you guys can get a better look. So there it is on the bottom. Got my label in here. I can show it to you guys on the desk cam. Let me just fold this so it'll fit and you guys can see it. There we go. So it's nice. It looks nice and professionally done. It almost looks like I stitched it with the blanket stitch, right? Makes it look like it's just part of that quilt when it actually is not, because we decided to do this after the fact. So, you know, this is a nice way to now I can kind of go back to some of my older quilts. And if I remember the dates, I can put it by date, or you can just do a name, or you can just do a nice little poem or message to the person. So you can really personalize it. Some people just put dates because they're date centric and they want to know when their quilts were made. You can do locations. Where were you when you were making this quilt? You know, you can just put your actual logo on here. If you have a small business, you can do that as well. Yeah, there's you put yours on the bottom corner. Yeah, yeah, and you can kind of put it anywhere. You know, if you really wanted to showcase it, you can put it right smack in the middle, right? If you wanted to make it a big label with your logo on it or something, you can put it right in the middle here if you wanted to. So it really depends, you know, what you want to showcase, but I do like having it in this bottom corner. I think this is great. You asked Google for a quilt label poem for your grandson and came back with a fun little poem about handmade with love. Oh, that's so sweet. Who would have thought? Yeah, there's so many different poems and maybe little sayings. Like maybe if you're doing this quilt for like, if you're remembering someone, and they had little sayings that we would say all the time, you know, you can kind of incorporate that into your label as well to kind of remember that person, you know. So especially if you're making a t-shirt quilt, that's maybe all about that person, right? You can definitely do that to the label. It just really makes it so nice and personalized. I really love that. I'm going to kind of go back and try to label all of my quilts. If I can't remember the dates, I will at least put the location or something that will remember what I was maybe thinking when I did the quilt, right? Maybe it's someone that was going through some kind of an occasion, right? Could be a wedding, it could be baby showers, it could be anything, right? And you maybe want to kind of didn't customize the quilt itself with that person's name, but you can definitely do it on the back with the label. And I thought that was really neat. And I like that, you know, you can, again, customize that for that person, because this can really add so much personalization to your products. If you're someone that's maybe selling on Etsy shops or craft fairs or things like that, you can bring a small machine like this right on hand and customize the labels for them. You know, it's kind of like an additional thing that you can offer, an additional service, right? So that's the opportunity to make that little bit of an extra money on there. Like you can give them the quilt, sell the quilt or whatever product is it you're making. And then if they would like a personalized label, that would just, you know, get a little bit extra. Maybe you can put your company's name, phone number, information on where they can find you. You know, who made this for you. This way you get repeat customers. They'll see, where did you get that quilt from? And you can say, oh, it's right here on the label. So that's like walking advertisement for you, right? People always ask you, where did you get that? And this is the perfect way to display that information as well. So if you're looking to sell and some kind of way to get repeat business on the items that you make, quilt labels is definitely a way to go. Now, I personally like to gift a lot of my items. I just gift them away. So you can do other things like names, locations, dates, sentiments, things like that, that are meaningful for you. So just different ideas that I wanted to kind of throw out there for you guys to see if you guys would like to use some of that on your projects that you're making out there. Okay. All righty. Yeah, you like my fabric choices? Oh, thank you, Cindy. Awesome. Okay. Great, great, great. Hey, quilting with Harriet. You're house cleaning. Yep. That's a Saturday thing as well. We got lots to do out there. So definitely, you know, I think we can say we are done 100% now with this quilt. And we've got everything ready to go. Now I just got to make 2 more of these, right? Because I said I needed to make 3 of them. So yeah, the other 2 should go a lot faster. I'm not going to be recording those or anything. We've already kind of went through this kind of step by step. So I'm just going to be doing those off to the side as additional gifts that need to be done for Christmas. So I've already gotten my first Christmas present done. So relief, 1 checkbox, yay. So you can definitely see that. So we've got our daily shows that we're still going to be doing, right? So we've got our daily morning shows, and we will definitely be back on Monday with a new project. We'll be starting something new there, and we'll start continuing on showing different things for that. But again, if you cannot attend the morning show, you can always catch the replay. We're just going to be getting things ready and moving things forward for bigger and better things to come. So I'm excited about that. I'm a little sad about not doing the Saturday CrafterNoons because that one kind of really touches me a little bit, since that was my first kind of anchor there. But you know, it's just something that I have to do in order for us to move forward. And if you're a member, or even if you're not a member, consider becoming a member. But if you are a member, you know, I'll try to schedule some times for us on Saturdays, probably evenings, late afternoons, things like that. It's not going to happen every Saturday because I'm going to be focused on getting that room done. So we did 3 years of Saturday CrafterNoons, and actually today for Saturday CrafterNoon, today was live number 147. So 147 live Saturday CrafterNoons, in addition to the daily morning shows that we've done now. So I want to thank you guys really for all of your support for these Saturday CrafterNoons. Again, we'll just be putting a pause on our Saturday CrafterNoon, but you know, we may be back. We just need to kind of take a pause so that we can get ready for bigger and better things. Okay. So I hope you guys really understand that and are truly okay. But thank you guys all, especially those who have been there from the very beginning. I hope you guys continue to watch on our daily shows and, you know, just catch the replays and other content that we create. But we definitely had a fantastic time on our Saturday CrafterNoons. We really enjoyed it. And there's more stuff coming. So just be on the lookout. Stay on our Facebook group. Put your notifications on, because there's new, bigger, and better things that are coming this way. And again, we're just pausing it. So we'll be back at some point. So don't forget to subscribe so you get all the information there. Thank you all for tuning in. Yes, I will see you on Monday. Thank you again for tuning in. I really appreciate all of your support. And guys, just have a fantastic weekend, and I hope to be crafting with you soon. Bye, everyone.
Big hugs and thanks to all our crafters, gifted crafters, super gifted crafters too. Thank you for all that you do. We wouldn't have this channel if not for you. Thanks for joining the channel, becoming a member. This supports us and this channel too. We love our members and appreciate you. Thank you for all that you do.
Dancing with GiftsHQ makes crafting videos, creating with passion and a love for what she sews. Crochet, quilting, and sewing, crafting is what she knows. Making smiles one craft at a time. Your talent will grow with every stitch and every thread she weaves her on. Her hands create something special straight from the heart. And as the colors come alive, the joy spreads near and far.